Hi all, I just felt the video would reaffirm a lot of the information that was at the presentation last week, so please see the attached as well as the PDF itself following up. I'll try to talk through some of the main points. So like I said, there were 6 main topics: immunity and micronutrients, macronutrients, nutrition for performance, meals and snacks, environment and habits, and then obviously left an opportunity for questions at the end. In terms of immunity and micronutrients, there's a couple of main areas that can be divided into the areas that are on the photo here. So if you look at on the right hand side, that goal of 5 to 7 fruit and vegetables a day, simply speaking, never wavers. So you look at hitting areas like vitamin A, vitamin B, vitamin C, and hitting those RDAs. Most of that, if not all of that, will be hit by 5 to 7 fruit and vegetables a day, eating the rainbow where possible, choosing options like beetroot, broccoli, asparagus, kiwi, strawberries, berries, bananas, etc. Lots of green leafy veg too where possible. The second part of that is maintaining, growing and developing bones, and maintaining bone mineral density are 2 aspects. One is obviously nailing your calcium, so 2 to 3 sources of calcium every day, and second is that vitamin D3 supplement like I mentioned. Third is that cognitive function, where getting in a source of fish once or twice a week, particularly oily fish, and then adding in chia seeds, flax seeds, walnuts or almonds into your day can always help, and as is summarised here. So simply speaking, 5 to 7 fruit and vegetables a day, number 1. Number 2, nail vitamin D3, even from a supplementation form, and try get in some calcium as well, 2 to 3 times a day to help that absorption. And third is some oily fish, 1 or 2 times a week, with the addition of chia seeds, flax seeds, walnuts and almonds. Secondly, you look at the macronutrients, so the big nutrients. You take into account then the function of carbohydrate. Primarily speaking, it's energy, particularly in and around performance. It's also fueling things like your brain, helping you recover from high intensity exercise to fuel for your next session, and looking at maintaining stable blood sugars when the right fibre options are in place. Whole food carbohydrates are the primary focus. You look like oats, whole grain rice, sourdough bread, sweet potato, fruits and vegetables, etc. 20% of the carbs that you have in a day will go to fuel your brain. So it's always important to have nutrient-dense, slow-releasing carbohydrates as the main bulk of your main meals, or as a bulk of your main meals. Second to that, in terms of protein and looking to maintain muscle mass, increase muscle mass, maintain a level of satiety, and obviously recover from exercise. Protein has an amount of functions here. Some of the main sources from a complete protein standpoint are your eggs, Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, salmon, chicken breast and milk. There's a multitude of other options too, like beef, eggs, nuts, different dairy options like cottage cheese like I mentioned, and then you have in things like chickpeas, lentils, tempeh, tofu as well. About 90 to 95% of protein is taken into the bloodstream after exercise, so always make sure to get in the protein source after exercise. To follow on from that as well, you look at maintaining a level distribution of protein throughout the day, so 20 to 30 grams every main meal where possible to maintain that optimal protein distribution. Why is that important? Well, the things I mentioned at the start, like maintaining muscle mass, improving your recovery from exercise, and reducing delayed onset muscle soreness, i.e. DOMS, can all be improved by nailing timing. Pre-sleep protein or a pre-sleep snack is always a hard one to follow. So you look at about 90 minutes out from going to sleep. Something like a little bit of Greek yogurt with some kiwis and berries is the perfect pre-bed snack. I realise that isn't always possible, so something even like a bit of smoked salmon on sourdough bread, beans on toast if it's after training, a small glass of milk and banana are all excellent sources too. About 15 to 30% of your overall calorie intake should be fats. I know that's a wide variety, but that is a good goal. The type of fat you need is looking at almonds, chia seeds, walnuts, flax seeds, avocados, olive oil, olives, salmon and eggs. If you can make up about 15 to 30% of your diet, your overall calorie intake from those foods, you're in a pretty good spot. Again, what's the benefit? Helps with hormone production and looks at fat soluble vitamins like A, D, E and K. Again, can be used for low intensity fuel. But where the meat of the information is in nutrition for performance. So you look at things like the lower carb days. So if you're a growing athlete or a growing hurling player, football player, camogie player, etc., you look at things like a lower intensity day. So that might not be very often, but on a day that you're off, you might go, do you know what, I don't need the same amount of food that I had yesterday. So some of these ideas here for a day off are definitely positive. Why is that? Well, they contain a little bit less carbohydrates. The following two slides is where most people will follow into. Again, the portion sizes might be quite big, but you look at the distribution of the plate. So about 20 to 60 grams of carbohydrates. Now what that means is about 1/3 or a little over 1/3 of the plate of carbohydrates in and around high intensity sessions or moderate intensity sessions. Following on from that, you look at the day before a game or the day of a high intensity pitch session, about half the plate of carbohydrates before the high intensity pitch session and after the high intensity pitch session. Again, if you can get in a bowl of porridge similar to the one in the top left hand corner here before a game or even the morning of a game, then that's excellent too. So you're looking at these, what should you eat before a high intensity pitch session? From the left to the right, you have 1 hour out, 2 hours out, and 3 hours out. About 1 hour out, even a homemade flapjack or some banana bread is a good option. From about 2 to 3 hours out, looking at a lean meat sandwich or even a chicken stir fry. 3, 2, 1 again. So 3 hours out in the top left hand corner, you're looking at, just from a gym session, you're looking at something like 1/3 carbs, 1/3 veg and 1/3 protein, or even going to somewhere like a wrap that again provides the fuel, provides the protein, but is not as high carb as you would need before a high intensity pitch session. When you're getting to 2 hours out and 1 hour out, even some Greek yogurt and berries or a homemade smoothie with oats, frozen berries and milk is perfect. Always make sure the source of protein is as important before a gym session as it is after. Finally, from recovery perspective, as I said at the day of the talk, recovery phase 1 and recovery phase 2. You take into account what does recovery phase 1 look like. Generally speaking, a milk or a liquid option, because it helps that absorption rate after a gym session or a pitch session. So it helps you recover that quicker basically. So you look at a homemade smoothie with some frozen berries, some milk or Greek yogurt and a banana. It's a perfect option within half an hour or an hour, and then within the next 60 to 90 minutes you're getting in either 2 slices of sourdough bread or brown bread with 3-4 eggs, or you're getting in your normal distribution dinner on the right hand side. So again, you're looking at phase 1 the left 2 squares and phase 2 on the right 2 squares. What does it look like the day before a game? Similar to this, again the same volume isn't required, but you look at the main foods in each of the snack and main meal areas. High carbohydrate, slow release for the majority, but high carbohydrate is the main focus. Again, instead of having a Greek yogurt option, you might have a muller rice option because it contains more carbs. You may have half your plate of carbohydrates in all the main meals, and you may have a dessert in place as well. When you're getting up to and including during the game, your pre and in-match snacks are the options here. Again, you don't need fizzy drinks in this scenario. You don't need fizzy drinks at all. So you take something like a banana. This gives you the same fuel as a Nutrigan bar, which gives you the same fuel as half a pint of grapes, which gives you the same fuel as an energy drink. You don't need an energy drink unless you're on the pitch or you're doing exercise over an hour or an hour and a half. Jaffa cakes, banana, grapes, oranges are all excellent options at half time to help you refuel and go again. And then immediately after, that's the time to have if you want chocolate milk or milk and banana. Both those options are excellent and provide carbohydrates, electrolytes and protein, particularly after a pitch session. Again, go home then and have your dinner. It's probably the time of the week to have your most enjoyable food, whether it's a pizza, burger and chips, etc. Meal and snacks, again, overnight oats are a super option. You'll find loads of them on the internet and a great time saver in the morning. Courgette frittata is a simple omelette mix that you can put in a bun tray and bake for 20 minutes. Other snack ideas are like banana bread, fruit salads, mixed nuts, Greek yogurt in the fridge, a couple of Weetabix to help you fuel before exercise, and scrambled eggs on toast. All excellent snack ideas that can help you fuel and recover from exercise. In terms of what does 100 calories look like, again, this is not to demonize any food, but it's to understand what 100 calories does look like. So 100 calories is in a couple of squares of dark chocolate, but also an apple, a banana and a half, small handful of nuts, maybe some Greek yogurt, and then you look at about half a plate of strawberries and a full plate of broccoli. So just being aware of that in and around your snack habits. Finally, you take into account your environment and habits. This is probably the most important dictator of your habits over a long period of time. Can you make sure that, number one, your preparation is key? Can you nail your prep? Can you cook 3-4 meals on a Sunday to take care of the week? Can you cook 20? Great, but if you can cook 3 or 4, it's a time saver, particularly after or before a pitch session during the week. Similarly speaking, can you stock your environment with long shelf life foods that are nutrient dense, much like the foods on the left hand side here: oats, eggs, frozen berries, couscous, rice and tuna. If you combine these with a couple of homemade snacks like Greek yogurt, watermelon, milk, homemade fish cakes, bananas and protein balls, then all of a sudden you have a pretty top class environment for snacks pre and snacks post exercise. You will always make sure then that your default habits, your poorest habits, are still excellent in and around exercise. To follow on from that, to build habits, make sure your nutrition environment promotes excellent habits and derive your habits from good intentions. So try things, mess them up and try again. In terms of intention, be clear. If you want to gain muscle mass, obviously look to nail protein sources every 3-4 hours in the day, particularly with the S&C of the under 17s groups, under 15s groups. Follow on from that, you want to make sure that you have some snack options prior to going out on the pitch. Make sure that always in your fridge there's a couple of kiwis, bananas, grapes, watermelon, etc. And then even if it's helping you recover from sessions during the week, if it's a particularly busy week, make sure you prep 5 meals on a Sunday. But to summarise, pick one thing. Pick one thing and nail one thing. Whether it's breakfast, making sure you have adequate protein with your breakfast. Whether it's making sure you have adequate protein with your lunch. Whether it's making sure that your fueling prior to a pitch session needs to improve, i.e. you get more carbohydrates in. Whether it's ensuring that your breakfast the morning of a game is top class. Pick one thing and nail it. It will all come down to preparation and environment, but pick one habit and focus on that. Thanks.